welcome back to the Mr. Arsenal podcast. Something you haven't done really before on this channel, but we're going to, this is a test run basically. We're going to do a series of this. Basically, as I said, we're going to do reactions to look at Arteta's press conferences here on it. I've been different enough to do this, and I didn't know if you'd be something you guys be interested in, but you know what? We're going into match day 3 now, and I thought, you know what, let's put it out there and see what happens, and see the attractions there, see what the want is there from you guys, and more Arsenal content in the day as well. And again, it's not on a set day, could be Thursday or Friday, this, that, and the other, because of games sitting on whatever day of the week. Plus, we will be covering the Champions League press conferences as well prior to every Champions League game as well, going forward. But basically, all this is the reaction to Mikel Arteta's press conference from the game. Basically, I've got notes on the other monitor here, and basically to go through every part of all the questions it was asked, this, that, and the other, and other bits I took away from actually watching it at 1:30 this afternoon when it was on Sky Sports, or a snippet of it was on Sky Sports. I'm sorry, yeah. But basically, yeah, if you want to put, again, if you've heard or seen anything from press conferences, if you want to discuss, feel free to put it in the comments section as well. And yeah, right, let's get underway. The main takeaway is on the headline. Again, I'm on the Arsenal website on the other monitor, and again, I'm getting the bulk of the notes from. Arteta confirms Jesus is available to face Fulham. That's the title, and then obviously subtitle is Mikel Arteta revealed that Gabriel Jesus is available for selection for Saturday's game against Fulham after recovering from minor knee surgery. And for now, again, anyone who's been living under a rock or hiding under a rock, whatever your preference is, that doesn't know this is the Jesus situation in the last few weeks. Basically, on match day of the Emirates Cup against Monaco on the 2nd of August, it came out as Jesus was in the match day squad. Then turned out once the Lions were announced that Jesus had suffered a setback on his knee. Then after the game where Arteta revealed in his press conference afterwards that basically the situation was that Jesus had been feeling a bit of not pain, but something weren't right in his knee. He woke up on the match day itself, and he couldn't move basically. So they took him to the nearest hospital that's contracted by the club, and they found there's excess fluid within where he had the surgery on his knee, because it was on the knee where he had the surgery. So excess fluid had gathered basically, and it was forming a problem. So they had to have that sucked out, cleared out, and then with that, he couldn't come, even though it was just fluid, because of having had that surgery to get in there and get the fluid out. He couldn't come straight back. He's had to do the recovery and allow the wound to heal properly and slowly. And then it's only literally up. What day am I on table? Friday. Yesterday or Wednesday? Photos emerged and video footage emerged of Jesus in full team training, which got a few tongues wagging and all that, and people believed, oh, could he be starting? Could he not be starting? And I'll put it out there on my social media as well that basically, in my opinion, I wouldn't, even though he's available, I personally wouldn't start him tomorrow. I'd have him in the matchday squad, I'd have him on the bench, and depending on how the game's going, like 25 to 20 minutes to go, if the game's done, like with Arsenal, for example, like 3-0 up, coasting and all that, bring him on for a cameo, get him some minutes that way. If it's tightly contested and this, that, and the other, bring him on, but don't give him long, basically. Don't give him ages. Let's give him that. So, for example, if it's like 3-0 up, we're coasting, 25 minutes to go, bring him on. If it's like 1-0 or 2-0, but they're looking to try and get back into it, we need to seal the game off, bring him on with 20 to 15 to go. But either way, just getting the minutes that way. Don't just throw him under the bus so soon, even though it's not major surgery, but still, you never know, the knee and all that. Here we go. It's got Tom in the chat as well. It says, I'm just outside the cinema. Have a good show, sir. Pick up Tom. Hopefully, hopefully you'll see tomorrow, Friday, on Gary's channel for the first hour anyway of your of your big game already for you guys. Leeds making moves, signing Joel Perel, something like 47 goals in 90 games in the Championship. Bamford's reign of terror is over. Hopefully, you hope. Rest in peace, says Nemeth Debray. What? Yes, this is a wrestler. Again, I'm not into wrestling myself, but this is a wrestler that's overnight sadly passed away at the age, I think it was 33 or 36, one of the two. But yeah, he sadly passed away at that young age suddenly, and thoughts go out to his friends, his family, and all that. But going back to this, so basically, yeah, the gist of it was, yeah, he's had to have this, he's out back, and Arteta today has confirmed that, surprisingly, in the training he's had with the team, he's showing sharpness. He's showing good signs basically, and he's in contention basically. Confirmed he's in contention to be in the matchday squad tomorrow, which is good because again, it's another option. Again, as I say, you don't have to start him. You can put him on the bench, see how the game plays out, game manage it, put him on for a little 10, 15, 20 minutes, whatever. And sort of go from there, really. Right. Just to go into that, because obviously this is the main part, the first part of this press conference statement from the club. The Brazilian missed our Community Shield triumph as well as our opening Premier League matches against Forest and Palace respectively, but returned to training this week as he stepped up with his recovery. So this is only meant to be the recovery. The plan wasn't to put him into this weekend by the sounds of it. But going further on, it does fold out that actually he's showing good signs here, good enough to actually suggest he could be in the matchday squad. That he could be in the matchday squad tomorrow. Not necessarily starting, but could be there. He has a chance, basically. Reflection on Gabri's progress, the boss said, "We're all happy. Obviously, it was a big blow for him after the pre-season. Yeah, he had a decent pre-season as well. Let's be honest, but Barcelona especially, one of his best performances in pre-season. One of his best performances. Actually, one of his. I say this. Barcelona pre-season was one of his best performances since coming back from the knee injury initially. That he had to have another surgery, but again, as I said, the fluid. But he's looking really sharp and trained the full week. So again, we got that only that came out publicly then. In that case, yesterday, the video footage and from Sky and the photos and all that from Arsenal and all that only came out yesterday in terms of days he's been in training stuff. But this is saying he's been in training with the entire team since Monday, basically. Which is, well, Tuesday because they played on Monday, but yeah. So he would have been training Monday on his own, and then full team from Tuesday onwards, which is good to know. Obviously, it's not like he's just come back for a day and we're just going into the bus, basically. You know. And trained a full week, so really good. So he's ready to go. On whether he was ready to start from the off, Mikel added, "Let's see." It's very good news. So again, from that, it's sort of the vibes I'm putting out is he's ready, but I'm not going to start him. I'm going to. But he's not without saying it. He's playing cards close to his chest without even saying that actually he might be on the bench. But that's not a bad thing either way. He's looking good considering. And this goes back to when it all happened, by the way, because a lot of people, when it all came out, the information all came out after the Monaco game from Mikel. A lot of people, Luca, had an absolute meltdown. End of the world, we need to go and get a striker. We're done for. And I said, going by the information we were given by the club, by Mikel, by people that know what that sort of recovery's time is. I said he'll be back for this game. if not Man United next week. I said it. No, yeah, I'm right. So hey. Mikel also said there was no other issues with the squad there, so he's confirmed there's no fresh injury concerns, nothing like that. So good. So obviously, even though we know Tomiyasu's out tomorrow because of the suspension, injury-wise, no issues, no players going to be missing apart from Tomiyasu for a suspension, wrongfully. And everyone knows it's wrong, but obviously PGMO and all the FA won't overturn it. But they overturn fucking McAllister's card like that. So meaning only Julian Timber and Mohamed El Neni are the only injured players still in the treatment room. Yeah. While Alexander Zinchenko could also get his first minutes of the season alongside Jesus, yeah, which is probably expected after working on Monday, wrongfully. With a whole, he got minutes as well. Let's not forget, Zinchenko did get minutes. That's the thing. It's not like he's just fresh back in training himself. He did get minutes on Monday night as well, forcibly probably, but he still got a few minutes on Monday. So again, it's just building him up. I say personally, I would start Zinchenko just because of our options. We've got no Timber. Tomiyasu's out injured. Tierney looks like he's gone off to a Sociedad, which we're going to get into in a little bit in a minute. So realistically, we've got no choice in that sense until we've got to go into the window in person. I think we have to. We have to go into the window and go and get, even if it's a loan, a season loan or something, go and get someone in because we don't know how long we as fans don't know how long Timber's out for. ACLs normally even at this time of the season tend to be the season ender. Which no one wants, let's be honest. Got Gary in the chat as well. Big up Gary, how you doing? When are these playing in my Ipswich Town? Tomorrow, 3 o'clock, same time as the Arsenal versus Fulham game. 3 o'clock kickoff, both teams. But yeah, I'll be doing the watch along anyway. I'll be here for the watch along. 2:30, we're going up for the watch along, by the way. That's all set up and ready to go since last night. For Arsenal versus Fulham, and obviously with Stefan and Tom, with their interest of their team, we'll be keeping an eye on all that game as well, respectively. Back to this. So yeah, alongside Jesus with a whole left in our defence following Tomiyasu's suspension again. And the thing is, everyone's agreed basically. Tomiyasu's that whole situation. He's not even booked for the first instance, but then to be booked again for literally just going, literally his hand brushing against the Ayu's shirt basically, and now he's just thrown himself to the floor. Everyone's saying even the media on our side, for fuck's sake, but because it's a double booking, the PGMOL Harold Webb and Co. look at us on the new offices. I'll get into that later as well, actually. That won't overturn it, even though they've got the power. Let's be honest, they do have the power in certain circumstances, like we saw on Monday in that whole situation that played out. They do have the power off the pitch then to reassess things and go, actually, no, what, there was a mistake here. It shouldn't have been a booking. It definitely shouldn't have been a second booking and leading to a red. So you know what we're going to do? Because it's a unique, special circumstance, we're going to overturn it and actually allow the player to be available for play for his next match day. But they won't, because they've got to protect themselves, as we've now found out over the last 24 hours via Mr. Dean. As I say, I'll get into after I've done this press conference read through in a minute. It goes on to say, reflecting on these opinions, reflecting on these options, he said, you have an idea of numbers, but obviously there are a lot of things that you can't control like injuries. So, because obviously this press conference has been an afternoon night training session, something could happen there. As he speaks, there's nothing wrong, but obviously in the afternoon something could happen beyond my control now. But yeah, it's true that we have a lot in that department, and it's something that we haven't had in previous years. We have used different players in the back line for certain moments. It's really important, especially for our players, and everybody needs to have clarity in their roles. Where there where they, I think when fucking hell, Arsenal, Jesus, read what is properly, where they are playing. Obviously, he's meant to say they, but he's put there. They put where they are, so it should be where they are. But anyway, well on Arsenal website. Playing, and obviously their families as well. We need clarity in amount of numbers that we're going to have. We're going to have. Sorry, who can do what? But until the window is shut, it is still a bit strange to be competing already in different competitions, and the window is still open. But we've had to deal with that. It's happened for a long time. We are used to it. Referring to the window still being open. Obviously, there was a brief period before COVID for like a year or two. There's 2 summer windows where the Premier League themselves has got involved and said actually Premier League business wise between clubs, ins and outs wise between every Premier League club. Window closes for you guys within working in the league day before the season starts. Window is obviously officially still open for outgoings or incomings abroad, but yeah, didn't work. Obviously, didn't work. They went back to the old system. Yeah. Right, and the next subject was before our meeting ahead of Fulham at the Emirates Stadium on Saturday. Mikel had faced the media, London currently, to preview the game. So obviously this is more again going back and forth over this and the other. Jesus in training, yep, of course, yeah, he's on that. On if Jesus can be involved against Fulham, he's ready to go, yep. On if Jesus would even start a match, let's see. So good news at the end. There's a subtitle from the previous thing, basically. Here we go, on set. On potential outgoings, there are some movements happening. One set. Yeah, sorry. On potential outgoings, there are some movements happening. Obviously, the last week is going to be really, really busy in terms of outgoings, obviously. But there's nothing that we can announce at the moment. And then the next question was on Floberg's future. He goes on to say, we cannot say anything. There are some movements, but we cannot be dragged into individuals because there's nothing concrete yet. And just on, again, a bit of subtext to that, basically, about the last 24 hours, the likes of Fabrizio and David Ornstein are basically putting out down their socials that a verbal agreement has been reached between Arsenal and Monaco for Flo Balogun, rumored to be around 40 to 45 million pounds, plus add-ons and all that. I mean, again, nothing official from either club until then. Officially from the clubs, as far as they're concerned, nothing concrete in place. They're trying to play it down, basically. Again, transfer-wise, on the links with Tierney and Real Sociedad, there's again, like last night, David Ornstein first tweeted about this, and basically saying, yeah, agreement's in place. It's going to be a loan, no option or obligation to buy, just a loan, and a season-long loan. And then obviously come next summer, we'll see how the land lies, basically. But yeah, again, it says again, there are things that are not resolved yet. When that isn't a matter, we will tell you. So basically, again, playing the cards close to their chest. Officially, nothing to say here until it's concrete, done, dusted. We can't say anything because it could break in negotiations. We've seen it before this summer, especially other clubs. Negotiations break down and moves don't happen. So I get why, again, while we've always been that club that doesn't really, incomes or outgoings, we don't speak much of our incomes or outgoings until it's done and dusted, basically, until the aftermath of it being confirmed. On the importance of getting a settled squad, Mikel replied, it's really important, especially for the players, and everybody needs to have clarity in their roles. Again, going back to before, so basically what I'm Jesus Christ. Going back before, basically, everyone needs to know their role, be it the actual position on the pitch, off the pitch, in training, outside of training when they're socialising and things like that, family life, etc. It's on the transfer speculation around Gabriel. Again, we touched on this on Monday night during the watch along myself. Again, I gave my thoughts on it, and I'll repeat it again just for anyone that's new, coming in new to the channel and all that weren't here on Monday. Then I'll go back and hash it out basically and find it. My thing on the whole Gabriel speculation on Monday was look at the Flo Balogun situation. Flo has basically been acting in terms of he hasn't been acting professional. He's basically, with that, shown he's not committed to the cause of what we're doing at the club. He's not committed at all. So with that, Mikel Arteta has isolated him out of the matchday squad. He's not been in a single matchday squad, be it Forest or Palace last week. He wasn't in the matchday squad for the Community Shield against Man City either. Because since we come back from the States, he's been isolated from the matchday squads because he's not committed to the cause. And we've seen throughout the years, anyone's not committed, they get isolated straight away. There's no even wasting places on the bench basically if you're not committed. So my thing was, if the rumor was true, Gabriel would not be on the bench last week or against Forest. So he would be given on Evo. If he wasn't committed, not only would he not be on the bench, if that was the case, and he was being just to make up the numbers, he would not be getting brought on. And given the armband on Monday, by the way, he was given the armband when Martin Odegaard went off. He then got the armband. So he's basically one of our vice captains, basically. You think about it. The thing is, I did see this question being a question basically on being asked by the presenter that was sent over by Sky Sports News. They asked the question. They're the first ones to ask question on Gabriel, basically. Cheeky fucker as well. I can't remember who it was, but the person that Sky sent. It's a cheeky motherfucker. That's all I'm going to say. Because he tried to be so cheeky with it, so coy with the question. Because he basically tried to. The way he worded it was basically, Gabriel's at the door. Basically, you're winning. His words were, Gabriel's another player. His words were, Gabriel is another player in terms of Gabriel the defender, another player that you're willing to accept off. Look at offers. Any offers coming, you look at them basically. Mikel's a smirk and obviously asked the question like Gabriel's a very important player to us, and no, he's going nowhere. There's no truth to the speculation, basically. But again, you just got to go to show the media aren't always on your side. They want to try and trip you up and try and get something. But hey, it is what it is. Right, here we go. Luke Chapman talking about Northampton Town. Okay, no one gives a full due respect the crap about Northampton. Gary Cottrell, that's the guy. Gary Cottrell. Name heard him. I heard the voice. I was like, fucking big guns as well. They said, and yeah, basically, yeah, his question was about being a question was basically Gabriel's he's one of your players that you're willing to accept offers for, isn't he? Trying to get a scoop inside scoop. Becky Mikel's a smirk there, gone Answer the question. Oh, and by the way, Gabriel's a very important player to us. He's not going anywhere, and he's very happy to be with us, etc., along them lines, as he would do. Was in that moment made Lee Gunner cry because Lee Gunner's going, oh, it's the end of the world. Oh, Mikel, he's off. Yeah, okay. Hawkwind's in the chat as well. Big up Hawkwind, big up Emerson, got Stefan popped into the chat. Talking about bloody Leeds and Ipswich earlier. Now they're both in here. One of them did. Tom wasn't here. Don't know if he's still in because obviously he's at cinema himself. Oh dear. Right, the next segment in this press conference was on Fulham. So, and this is what Mikel said in response to asking about Fulham. He says, I think Marco and the coaching staff have done what Marco and the coaching staff have done is remarkable. The way they played last season, the way they finished in the Premier League, and especially the way they did it. It was incredible. He is a coach that I always admire because they're really well organised. They have really clear ideas of what they want to do, and you can see see his team exactly in the way that he wants them. Tomorrow we're going to have a tough match. Again, no surprise there. Again, it's London Derby. Again, London Derby's even though we're at home and we did beat them last time out at their gaff back into the season 3-0 comfortably in the end, and they haven't looked too good in these first. Even though they won the first game 1-0 against Everton, it was a scrappy one there, and then they got pumped. They get pumped, didn't they? Yeah, they got pumped last week against Brentford. But in terms of performance-wise, they're not looking good. Obviously, their key man for the last few years, Mitrovic, has pissed off to Saudi Arabia. And then amongst all that, they brought in Raul Jimenez. Again, if it had been Raul Jimenez prior to his head injury against us in the COVID season, that would be an amazing signing for them. But since, again, I've always said, since the injury he had and the surgery he had to have in his head, his skull, sorry, Raul has never been the same. Sadly, it's not been the case. And I don't see why, with all due respect to Raul, that Fulham went and spent £7 million on him. I mean, that's what signal signs there that even Fulham didn't value him that much by the end of his time. They're happy to just take anything, basically. And again, he was a fantastic player. The head injury and the surgery that preceded that injury, he's just not been the same. But going back to what Mikel says about this, this will be a tough match tonight. You'd expect it to, because it is a London derby. First and foremost, it's a London derby. They're going to come out, no matter how bad performance-wise they are at the moment, and all the incomings and outgoings, etc., etc. You would expect them to come out and basically put everyone behind the ball and try and do us on a counter attack, like we saw against Forest the other week on match day 1. I do see us eventually. I think my score prediction as it stands, I've not seen any team that I think it's going to be a 3 or 4-0 affair for us in our favour. But you'd expect them in the first 15 to 20 minutes to set their stall out and invite the pressure basically and see if they can cope with it. And if we get an early goal on that 15-20 minute spell, it'll be carnage for them. But it's a London derby, you never know. But we'll see. Hopefully, we don't get too cocksure of ourselves before crossing the line and just do our jobs. Whereas, again, I don't think we will get cocksure of ourselves. I think we'll just go out there, put our performance in. We're at home as well. We're home. Our home fans behind us. I think we've got, apart from Tomiyasu, suspension-wise, apart from the 2 players I mentioned before, they're out, obviously still injured. And obviously, Julian Timber and Elmanelli's still not back yet. We've pretty much got a full squad available, basically. And I think we are, and we will be too strong for them. So, as I say, I think it'll be a 3 or 4-0 absolute pummel, basically, against Fulham. Now, I'll touch on this now, because my thoughts on this after I read this out. But basically, he's then asked, obviously, because he's Spanish as well, Spain winning Women's Team won the World Cup, and we all know the aftermath of what happened there, with the head of the Spanish FA grabbing Hermoso, the Spain forward, round her waist, putting her in, and kissing her on the platform where the trophy, all medals are given out. Just grabbing her and putting her in and kissing her. With obviously no consent. You can tell there's no consent. I don't care what he says. No consent. And feeling her up basically as well, along the whilst kissing her. It wasn't a peck on the cheek. It was obviously she's come out saying, she said obviously in his first instance, it was obviously the first thing was didn't feel comfortable. Obviously, as you expect, some guy just grabs hold of you and starts doing that. You think, you're not going to feel comfortable. obviously. And then obviously about a few hours later, was made put a statement there saying, "No, everything's so fine. It's all consensual." Da, 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 da. Okay. It's got to the point now. Even UEFA are getting involved and launching their own investigation into him to try and force him to leave. He prior to his press conference today had a separate press release basically where literally everyone believed that he was about to actually stepping down basically because the pressure was put on him. He's going to step down from his role as the head of the Spanish FA. Only for him to come out and basically do the Wolf of Wall Street. If you've seen the film The Wolf of Wall Street, you know what I'm going to refer to. Basically said goes out there with the intention to do it, and then sees all these people and goes, actually, you know what? I ain't going anywhere. Then blaming the council culture, this, that, and the other. Everyone else has fought by my own. I am perfect, basically. This guy, basically. So basically, this next question was basically on Luis Rubiel's future at the Spanish FA, and obviously with the actions of how it's all unfolding. Does it have is it a potential where this situation could overshadow what the Spanish women's team did last Sunday? And Mikel said for sure, and hopefully it doesn't. He said after hopefully it doesn't because I'm extremely proud of what they have done. I think the whole country is, but I don't have the full details. Sorry, I cannot comment on what happened today in terms of they mentioned that obviously prior to this press conference. He's held a press conference himself in Spain and said, he ain't leaving, basically. And who he's and what reasons why he's not going and this, that, and the other. And basically putting the women's success and the women's success. It's all on him. If it weren't for him, basically none of this would have happened. The women's national team coach, with all the pressure he's been put under as well, is basically this guy, the head, basically the guys under pressure has come out and said as well, he's getting a new contract as well. And people wonder what, and people like Russ and a few others that popped it that was in the chat on Sunday were discussing the end of the game and all that situation. Oh, but the Spanish FA investigated it, and they investigated and they found nothing. And you see what happened. We saw what happened, and then we've seen it all play out this week. I wonder why none of it was found. But look, it is what it is. Until the proper authorities get involved, nothing's going to change there. And then obviously, clearly, this guy, the power's gone to his fucking head. Arteta goes on to say, but it is sad that this is happening while everybody should be celebrating and be extremely proud of what they have done. Yeah. Hawkwind saying it was so cheesy. I'm assuming you meant referring to what I mentioned before. Disappointing Kudos is going to West Ham. Well, apparently that's up in the air now. According to the media over here, that could be up in the air because apparently Saudi Arabia got involved. It's not holiday. But hopefully Arsenal are going defensive for their next target. I think if we're bringing anyone else in this window, it will be a defensive player to make up the numbers of losing Julian Timber, where we have, and the fact that we've got a very bent PGMOL situation spying out of control. I was asked about, this goes off nothing. Never bloody hell. I'm going to skip through this. Jesus Christ, read what's being said. 1 sec. Go back to where I was. Oh yeah, this is the next bit we'll touch on actually. But on Mike Dean's recent comments about how he handled the VAR last season, and basically again, for anyone that's not heard of what Mike Dean's had to say, basically the gist of it is he's come out and spoke about one particular game last year. It was Chelsea 2, Tottenham 2. Start of the season, pretty much, basically. One of the first few weeks of the season, there's that Stamford Bridge, and we all know what happened there. Mike Dean was in the VAR room. He was the VAR official for that game. And at the time, everyone's like, after the game, like, going over things and analysing the game and all that. and asking questions, because obviously Chelsea's first goal, there was a failure build up. It wasn't. It was looked at briefly, but nothing was given. So the goal stood from Tottenham, and it all kicked off there. And people were asking, "Oh, why didn't VAR send the ref over to look at it or get involved? Da, 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 da. What have they seen that we haven't?" Da, blah, blah, boom, boom. And then obviously there was the incident with the equaliser as well. And it all transpires now. Now, obviously, now he's been sacked. Now he was sacked by Howard Webb in the summer. He's now doing this. Every now and then I'm going to do interviews and basically throw my mates under the bus, basically, whilst doing myself under the bus. But basically said it because he noticed. He said, "Yeah, I noticed a foul in the build-up, but I didn't want to send my mate. I didn't want to send the ref over because he's my mate. I didn't want to throw him under the bus, but because of via the media and the fans alike in the stadium because of how intense the atmosphere was at the game. So I decided to ignore it and let the game play out the way it did, which is again thrown not just his morals under scrutiny, but as I say, it's thrown the PGMOL and that whole setup that we always talk about on his channel under the bus as well. Because of he's doing, because we've said we've always called it the old boys club. Everyone, they all look out for each other and all that. And Mike Dean goes and confirms that, yeah, I was one of them. I'm one of them. I actually did do that. You got to laugh at him. It's just, what else can? I mean, he's put it out there. We know it's confirming what most of us have spoke about on that situation before about the referees and the VAR system and how it's still a setup basically for certain clubs and looking out for certain teams or their best mates on the pitch, etc., etc. And then, yeah, it's just, but nothing's going to change. Even though it's been put out there now by Mike Dean, nothing will change because he's now been sacked again from the PGMO, as I said in the summer, by Howard Webb. Is like, well, you're saying this now because you're not there. If Howard Webb hadn't sacked him, would Mike Dean come out and do that interview he did yesterday? No, of course he wouldn't. But it does throw the scrutiny under the scrutiny of the whole setup basically, and who runs it. But anyway, back to Mikel's answer on that situation. Obviously, Mike Dean's recent comment about the VAR, how he handled it last year. Mikel, as you'd expect, because if you say anything, you're in trouble. I prefer not to comment too much about referees. I stay away from it. I think it's clear from the images that you can gather, so I prefer not to comment. Basically saying I'm not surprised, but I don't want to say them words because they'll hold it against me, basically. Which they will. That's the next few comments. How good was the Palace win? We'll go on to this because obviously this is something we haven't touched on in this press conference yet. How good was the win against Palace on Monday? Any response was, especially when you have to play over 30 minutes in those conditions, obviously away from home, 10 men, wrongfully or rightfully, in certain circumstances, but in this case it was wrongfully. But we did it, and the team showed an incredible hunger and resilience to win and react against difficult moments. And this is what we want. It was a really good game for us to learn something different. And again, I'd rather learn it now at the start of the season than halfway through the season, have these situations thrown at them, completely fresh, and then they panic and go, crap the bed. Best remain classy regarding line cheating. Exactly. I'm not surprised he responded, but yeah. When Arteta stayed away from the Spanish Federation situation or a poor decision. Well, obviously he doesn't. He's from what I'm seeing, not good. But again, I'm not there in the rooms. I don't know who's sitting at these press conferences. I'm not savvy, basically, in that sense. I can only I can only go by what we've all seen, and it doesn't look good, and hopefully it gets dealt with soon, so it doesn't overshadow what the women actually achieved on the pitch, respectively. This is basically them telling us to suck it up and deal with it. It has proven us conspiracy theorists are telling the truth. Exactly. So Sam Greenwood, who hasn't popped, I haven't seen him in the chat yet, was probably thinking, why did you do that? Because now I've got to fight against them all even more because he's confirmed it. I can't do any more now. When you talk bad on Mr. Tom, I'll let him know. So I can't be that type of friend. I think I just kidding, Mr. Tom. I spoke bad about him. It's a at the cinema, which he is. He's told us in the chat earlier he's in the cinema. How was Tony punished? Guilty and punished by the FA, but the PGMOL aren't. Because they're all old bastards looking after each other, basically. Yeah. Let's go through. Sorry, I'm going to pop in and out now. One sec. On whether this is another one. On whether he identified that that was something he had changed. It's more than that. It's the way you feel, the way the team has to conduct and transmit and feel the way it has to compete. It's very far. Sorry, very far away from those words. That's for sure. Obviously, referring to his thoughts on their Monday night's game. On whether we'll see Partey, Rice, and Odegaard as a midfield trio. I think we've already ticked this box. We played like that against Man City, obviously referring to the Community Shield, which is true. That was the first outing. Obviously, Premier League haven't done that yet, but uh, obviously he's basically saying, "I'm not. We've done it, so we will do it again." It's just getting the players the minutes and getting them fitted in and using the training pitch to do that. And then once we're fully comfortable and the players are ready to go, boom, off we go. And there was a follow-up question on whether it happened in the league. He responded, "Oh, in the league? Question mark. What about in the Champions League, the Carabao Cup? We have to play like that in the. We have to play like that in the league, at home or away for sure. I think it's going to happen." So basically saying, don't just list it into just one category of it's going to be a league trio and that's it. We're going to use that midfield trio in not just the league coming away. We're going to do it in the Champions League. We're going to do it in the cup games as well. So don't just put it into one lane and hope just that's it. We've got spot depth in midfield now. We need to use our rotate. So I said it during the summer as well. For God's sake. And how he's finding the new touchline rules. I'm used to it already. 1 week done. I'm a new man. On the touchline, you will see me so calm. I won't move from the line. And I'm ready to go. I'm being serious. I'm trying my best. I have somebody in the stand, and the moment I move tomorrow, you will see how good I behave. Because obviously, again, taking a dig at the FA and all that. Because obviously, this rule they've put in place, they used him as an example of why they're putting this rule in place. Basically, so it's okay when Pep does it, or Klopp does it, or Mourinho's done it, or when Tuchel did it and he run fucking past the away dugout, past Conte, giving it a large against Tottenham. When Chelsea went 2-1 up in that game last year and finished 2-2. That's okay, but when Arteta gives it the big one, oh, that's it, boom. We've got to stop this now. Some Saudi Pro League stuff. on if Tomiyasu, 2 yellow cards should have been allowed on an appeal process. Again, we've mentioned this. We've already mentioned this today, and we mentioned it on Monday. Now that they weren't. They just weren't double booking offences. You had the ball. You literally have us at the ball for most of the time. Pass it to Tomiyasu. Tomiyasu got the ball, adjusted himself, looked around. As he's throwing the ball, the ref's gone, and in that time of getting the ball, looking around, throwing it, it was 8 seconds exactly. The ball being in his hands, 8 seconds from him literally giving the ball and literally going to make the movement to throw it. And he got booked for that. And obviously, we all know the AU situation. And a few minutes later, fucking Hammers just like, full took it us through it and gets nothing. Makes sense of that one. But Mikel comes back and says, yes, I'd like to see a retrospective approach on that. But we know that's not going to happen. Yeah, because they're protecting themselves. I've said it for years. I've said it for as long as I've had this channel, basically, publicly wise. The referees, the PGMOL and all that, it's the whole setup now is to protect the official, no matter what. No matter how bad they are at their job, they're protecting now. And it's overprotection FC. Sorry, on whether he'd reject offers. He's asked on whether he'd reject offers for our players from the Saudi Pro League during the 2 weeks when we wouldn't be able to replace them. Because the window stays open beyond ours. The principle would be that, but I cannot make that decision for the club. There are a lot of people involved in the process who would have to have a say on it. Basically, it would be on the table like any other offer we would like. We would have to have a look at it, but not ideal because now it's a competitor. And then lastly, he was asked about Julian Timber's injury impacts the defensive work done in the summer. Mikel responds lastly saying, I have no idea on the numbers, but obviously there are a lot of things that you cannot control like injuries. It's true that we have a lot in our department, defensive wise, I mean. And it's something that we haven't had in previous years. We have used different players in the back line for certain moments. Another thing we cannot control is when a player decides to leave, so we have to adapt. I just looked over and seen and that was the end of the press conference side of things, basically. Yeah. So I was just in my head and fucking just see bloody. He's just talking about fucking that fort in Spain. Well, I've seen this recent comment from guys via Twitter, what we know is Twitter anyway, X now. The Spanish Sports Council have begun the procedures for Luis Ribas to give explanations basically behind his behaviour on that day and in how he's conducted himself since, I'm assuming. And Victor Francos announced that they will suspend him from his duties. Suspended. So hopefully not. Hopefully not on that side of things. Hopefully he does actually get dealt with properly for once. Sort of Sam, say his name once, he pops in. Fucking hell. The rapture is here. Not looking good for you, Chris. You've been seeing your body. Oh my god. Oh, going for me for a second there. So I'm just going to the chat quickly. It would be massive. It would be very massive, says BX Business, if the The Ivan Toney links are true. Again, I think that's main. I think Arteta's a fan of him, obviously, but obviously if he's banned, looks like we're waiting until we get him. I personally, I've said it on Monday. I think I said it. Go and get him now. Get him in now. Make the offer now. Get him in. He can't play anyway for Brentford. It makes no difference. Might as well get some money from him now. Get him in now. And then obviously from next week onwards, start midway through next week, from the 1st of September onwards, he can start training again with teams and not his team, right? So if we get him in now, he then starts training with his teammates at Arsenal, new teammates. But the time he then comes back from his suspension that he was serving, he doesn't have that. It doesn't need that setting in time in terms of on the match, in terms of his new team and all that. The match, he would have been training with us week in week out for 3 or 4 months. He'd be ready a minute to go, but I don't think Arsenal will do that. But they should do that. If that's a possibility to be able to do it now, go get it done now. Chris is asking, does Arteta know when Jesus will be returning? I will let the church start. Jesus. Okay. Top batter from there. Oh, you got to have a laugh. You don't get cry. Is this the guy that's... Yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Because obviously he don't... For some reason, he called a press conference. Everyone expected him to resign. He then did the Wolf of Wall Street. I'm not leaving. I'm not fucking leaving. It's everyone else's fault. I'm staying put. Da 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 da. And all the glories, all the success is because of me, basically. And the Spanish media, they're going, yay! Apparently, yeah. The non-Spanish media are thinking, what the fuck are we coming here for? We're just going to do this. Oh dear. Sarah John's in the chat says, afternoon Guinness, scrap the PGMOL, now Vine, Bent, now Vine. Bent as a 9 bob note. Yeah. I've been calling it, I've said it, I've been saying out the corruption, like, not just aimed at Arsenal either, in general, the corruption is there for us all to see. And now that he's, it's only because Howard Webb sacked him in the summer that he's done this interview and released that information of, well, with this incident with the Chelsea v Tottenham 2-2 game, when I was in the VAR room, I was in charge that day. I saw this. I decided I couldn't call him up on it. I couldn't send him over to the screen because he would have added more scrutiny to him personally and looked after my friend. So if he's doing it, imagine how many others are doing it for them sort of reasons or worse. Jesus Christ! No one's liking that Spanish fraud in Spain. That's well, I say the Spanish fraud in Spain that we will refer to in pretty much every stream here. That ran off to Spain, the one that ran off to Spain. Put it that way. Oh dear, you got to laugh. If you don't laugh, you'll cry. Oh dear. Old school style, Jesus Christ. Anyway, yeah, not much else to say really in terms of that side of things, because obviously the bulk of it was based on Jesus and obviously back in training, obviously, and the potential of him playing going forward and how quick he'll be back, and obviously it could be tomorrow. I'd going by, even before I've read all that out, I personally don't think we'll be seeing Jesus start tomorrow. If anything, he'll be on the bench, and depending on how, as I said earlier, depending on how the game goes, we'll see. We'll probably see him for the last 25, 30 minutes, maybe 20 minutes if you're lucky. But again, depending on how that game goes. In terms of Fulham in general, I'll give my score prediction already. It's going to be 3 or 4-0. We're going to be too much for them. From what I've seen of Fulham so far, they've lost their best striker as well, best player. Solomon has got as well. He's getting something to go to top. Went back to Shakhtar, then went to Tottenham. There's a There's a lot that needs doing in the last few days of the window for Fulham to make sure they don't get pulled into a relegation scrap, a second season syndrome relegation scrap. But I do think we're going to be too strong for them, and we will absolutely obliterate them. Personally, I think this people at home. I know it's a London derby, anything can happen, but we're at home, and this will be the perfect game. This is like the perfect game for us now. Let's go, all guns blazing. No pun intended. Let's go. Just literally put 4 or 5 past them. Leno's in goal as well. Their best defender as well. He's out suspended as well because he got red carded last week against Brentford. Mr. Veen. So yeah, I think everything's sort of perfectly timed for us in that sense. But in terms of my team lineup, I'd go keep Ramsdale in goal. Don't see why not. Ramsdale in goal. I put Ben White right back. Bring back and put Saliba, Gabriel to partnership again. Zinchenko at left back, inverted, whatever you want to call it. And then the midfield trio, Partey, Rice, Odegaard. I'll then put Saka down the right, and then I'll start Trossard. Possibly put Trossard on the left. Martinelli on the bench just to get some best bite, but put Trossard on the left. Leave Eddie in the middle. And if Eddie doesn't start, Trossard down the middle, Gabby down the left, as in Martinelli, obviously. But yeah, who's the first man to be sent off? A lot. No, I've got Newcastle on Sunday, so that's a possibility. Never know. 5-0 says Broncos. His prediction: Nketiah, Saka, Martinelli, Havertz, and that's all different. An individual score for every goal. Okay, I'll take that. Especially if Havertz scores any of the goals tomorrow, people would publicly put out their agenda against Havertz. Need to put it to rest and get behind the player. Well, in general, they do put it to rest and support the fucking players. But no, Arsenal play for fuck's sake. But yeah, I'll take that. I'll take it. As long as we don't get screwed over by the officiating tomorrow, we'll be good. But yeah. I'm going to wrap things up now. I've been going for longer than I was planning to go for anyway, half hour long, really. I'm going to go now, go to something to eat, get myself ready. I might, if you guys want me to, I might do a watch along tonight for the Chelsea Luton game if you want me to. Only if you want me to. Let me know in the chat now before I wrap things up if you want me to do that. If not, I'm definitely back tomorrow, 2:30 UK time for Arsenal versus Fulham. And yeah, so 2:30 live, 3 o'clock kickoff. So we'll have like a 10 minutes. 10 minutes will kick off, a little 10-minute scale of me looking for the respective where to find it to watch it. So we say, if you know, in the UK, and go from there basically. Whilst keeping an eye on Leeds and Ipswich as well, just for Stefan and Leeds, Tom's perspectives basically. But yeah, sounds good. Nice. See you later. Okay, cool. I might do that then. I'll obviously have to set up a thumbnail and all that. But yeah, I'll sort that out later then. Come on, Luton Penn. I've already said. I will say this though, just to give people a heads up. I've already said if Luton get, because I'll be honest, I'm fully expecting Chelsea to just, because he's at the bridge as well. So I'm fully expecting Chelsea to blow Luton out of the water, because Luton, in the one game they've played already this season, which was opening day, not really impressed, to say the least. I fully expect Chelsea to blow them pieces. If Chelsea cannot win this game comfortably with a clean sheet, they need to have words with themselves, basically. Oh dear. Anyway, with that, I'll see you guys later. If you're new to the channel, do subscribe, do smash that like button, and do share the content around. If you want to become a member, I'll be putting a link into the community post, a refresh of the link into the community post in the next 5 to 10 minutes. So check that out quickly. Come and join us on the membership side of things. And yeah, also do share the content. The more you guys share the content of this channel, link to the channel in general, more new eyes we'll get on the channel, and going forward, grow the channel even faster and better than we ever have done before. But until then, take care of yourselves, and as always, up the Arsenal. Come on, you guys.